Now to our exclusive interview with Saudi Pro League Director of Football, Michael Emenalo, who's been speaking to our chief reporter, Kaveh Solhekol, about a whole host of topics, including their huge spending, wages, Neymar, Ronaldo, Jordan Henderson, human rights, LGBTQ+ rights, Mo Salah, and Saudi clubs playing in the Champions League and the possibility of a World Cup in Saudi Arabia. Let's have an in-depth listen to some of the best bits.
The reports are largely inaccurate. I think there is an oceanic difference between what is being reported and what the facts are. Are there players who have been superbly remunerated? Of course, there has been. I remember in the days of the Dream Team in Barcelona or the Galacticos in Madrid, and when those numbers started coming out, that everybody flinched. When Ronaldo was sold for 80 million from Manchester United to Real Madrid, people thought it was insane and football had gone crazy. I can also refer you to other sports in the world, like in baseball, and I want you to look at some of the numbers and some of the contracts that are being thrown around for individuals. But this is business. The same people that have come in and shouted from the rooftop that football needed to be, first professionalized and then turn into a lucrative business, are now complaining that, like any other business, the numbers are starting to sound a little bit astronomical. There is some truth that that the remunerations are great, but there is a lot of lack of truth in the numbers that are being.
What do you say to people, and this is a question I get asked a lot, is this a repeat of what happened in China with the Chinese Super League, where there was a lot of money spent and then very quickly it all stopped? Is this going to last longer than what happened with the Chinese Super League?
Not only will it last longer, I believe that is something that will be there to stay and will continue to grow. The reason for that is, if you've, again, I alluded to that a little bit, if anybody's paid attention to Saudi football will understand that its populace is very, very passionate about the game. Again, this is a well thought out plan that's been in existence for a very, very long time. And then, there is a simple fact that the effort that we've made in this window, for example, shows that there will be easy interest in the best footballers joining the league. We are not just bringing players in to pay them so that they can run around and be famous for a few days. There is an embedded plan to improve infrastructure, to help develop the academies, to help develop the regions, recreational football. There's a bigger strategy to that, to this. It's not just about acquisition of players, and for that reason, I confidently believe that the league will be here to stay for a very long time.
And what is the ultimate aim, for instance? Is the ultimate aim, I know people have talked about maybe having Saudi Pro League clubs play in the UEFA Champions League. Is that something that's been discussed or you could see happening?
No, that's a very far-fetched dream that none of us has contemplated. At least I've not been privy to any conversation at any level that have suggested anything of such. I think we're happy with where we are. We think football belongs to everybody, and we believe that top-level football belongs to everybody, as was the case with the World Cup in Qatar. Some doubts and some concerns, and in the end, it turned out to be one of the very best World Cups of all time. We don't feel that we need the validation of the Champions League to be considered a top league in the world. Football doesn't need the validation of the Champions League to be considered interesting and wonderful. I played it on the concrete grounds of Nigeria, in my local state, and I used to come out and play it with 20,000 people just watching training sessions alone. It has since declined, and because of the influence of European football and technology and football streaming. So things change and evolve, but football is football, and football would be wonderful whether it's played in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in Angola, or in Munich or here in London.
You're a player yourself, you've been an executive. Have you ever come across players who have had sort of political or moral concerns about playing in particular places or working in particular places?
Well, players. There are players who have had that, and I think there are players who have chosen to become activists. The great Muhammad Ali was one of those examples, and there are others, athletes, who have shown their support and their activism in a very different way, and I think people have their values. People also have their personalities. People have their own ways and backgrounds and influences, and that's what makes the world so wonderful. But I think we live in a world now of easy access because of technology and social media, and it's now very easy to criticize and talk about everybody's actions and responsibilities. But I repeat, these guys are exceptional professionals. They're artists. They've got a talent that they've honed over years and hours to be at the top. And I think it's nothing to be ashamed of, that they want to make decisions based on the areas where they have incredible expertise. It doesn't mean that they don't care. It doesn't mean that they've lost their values. But it just means that their focus is to be the best they can be for the very short space of time they have to do their job and to do it well.
I want to ask you as well about Jordan Henderson. Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about him. What do you make of his situation and how he's dealt with it?
Well, first, I'm very proud of Jordan. I'm very proud of him that he chose of his own volition to express support and values that he shares, and he shouldn't be vilified for that. I'm also very proud of him that he's able to make a decision, professionally, that he thinks allows him and his family to continue to live the life that he wants to live. The Jordan Henderson that I know hasn't changed. I met him recently and had a conversation with him. He remains, passionate about the game. He remains passionate about life, and he remains, passionate about his beliefs. Again, I have nothing but best wishes for Jordan, and I'm sure that he will help. He will help not only the league grow on the pitch, but off of it with some of these issues. I have no doubt that he will be a wonderful addition to our league and the kingdom.
What would you say to people who would say this is more to do with sport washing than sport? Is there an element to it, because the media is now talking about Saudi Arabia in a much more positive way? We're talking about Neymar, Ronaldo, Benzema. We're talking about all these great footballers. And that is what's being associated with Saudi Arabia, rather than focusing on negatives. Do you think that is part of the narrative, or is that criticism misguided?
Well, I think I don't know if it's misguided or not, but I would say that I don't see, historically what sports washing has to do with it, because this has been, part of progress for so many enterprises for different organizations. Today is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because they've decided to offer quality entertainment to its people, to try to participate in what everybody recognizes is a blossoming industry, the football industry, and so I think people can make of it what they want. That's not the way that I see it, and I don't think this is what this is all about. From everything that I've seen, from the strategies that have been in place, I have not, seen a clear indication that this is anything but wanting to have one of the best leagues in the world to provide quality entertainment and leadership examples to the people of Saudi Arabia.